That's right. We can still start.
Then we get started. All right. Dear Heavenly Father, we ask that you turn on my stuff here. Oh, somebody did. Great. Please help us to make the right decisions for the people of Alcona County. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming. We'll do the roll call, please.
Paul.
Here.
Walker.
Not here.
Drummond.
Here.
Brady.
Here.
Thompson.
Here. Accept the motion to approve minutes from May 5th.
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. I want to make a modification to the agenda. Number one is we need to add in Carolyn and Dan, Tom Weichel have a motion about HB 4670, 4673 as it pertains to the courts. So we're going to kind of
Prosecutor more than
right when he's in the middle of court, so we're going to watch for him to pop his head in and stick him in when we can. And the second one, I'm going to let Gary under presentations present his two resolutions that he's given to us. We'll start with public comment though, and I know that Craig.
Yep, I'm here, Adam.
See ya.
The table.
Can you hear me?
Oh, hold on a second, Craig.
Did you want to
Got
put
it.
it on the agenda? The motion that was tabled?
Oh, yeah, we can. Oh, there's also a tape.
I-
I mean, we didn't say how long it was tabled. Let's
That's
just
true.
leave it tabled.
Leave it on table.
We'll leave it on
Leave it
table.
on the table.
And
All
then
right.
Jennifer will it.
Oh, yeah, we got to do Jennifer, closed session with Jennifer. Yep, thank you very much. At the courts. And we'll plan that for towards the end of the meeting. All right, Craig. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Oh, no problem. Hey, thanks.
Sit
Though
there,
I did enjoy greatly being on the board with you guys. A day like today, I'm glad I'm out here. Instead of been there. Beautiful day out. So, yep. Road Commission had a meeting last week, so I was out. I missed a couple of meetings with, as some of you know. I told Adam I had COVID for 3 weeks or a month or whatever it was. I don't know. It seemed like forever, but so back at it again. Got to their meeting last week. Just to get started, they have a ton of road projects this year. Their township, they approved a bunch of them at that last meeting. They got a bunch more to go. So a lot of work to get done, a lot of work that they're doing around the county. But the nice thing is, so they did purchase 2 new pieces of equipment, and I actually had the pleasure. I was planting right next to the Poor Farm Road here today, and they're chip sealing Poor Farm Road. And amazing how much faster they are. I talked with Jesse, and I guess the new machine is wider. It's a spreader and a distributor for tar, and they're just knocking stuff out way faster. So that's good for everybody in the townships. That's good for anybody traveling on these roads. And hopefully them jobs will get done and weather won't be such an issue for them. Secondly, let's see, they did get their, I don't think they've had their union sign off on it yet, but I think they've come to a mutual agreement, just waiting for them to sign and get back. So that's all set. Their wash barn is on the go. I think they got a couple things left to finish in that, but that's it. Probably one of the more lengthy discussions came up with Cedar Lake and the dam issues. So first of all, I think it was reported, I don't know, maybe the end of last year, that there was a discrepancy between Iosco County people paying and Alcona County people, how much they were paying on their special assessment. And from what I understand, it's all been settled. I think the treasurer would know more about it, but it's all going to be settled by the end of the special assessment period. So everybody will have paid what they should have paid, but it's going to be a little different, I think, is the way it was explained up front. So Cheryl, I think, knows more about that. They had a meeting and said they had figured that out. I guess the other thing will be, I had talked with the chair there probably a month and a half ago. I think we chatted that there may have been some issues with the dam and leaking and some other issues. At that time, it wasn't really public knowledge, I guess is what it was, but it has since become that. There are some people with some issues. So from the way I understand, there's going to be an ad put in the paper that just basically states that there is no leaking at the dam. Things are as they should be, and it was engineered as it should be. Jesse said that I don't know when or what paper that, probably both papers, probably Iosco and Alcona papers. So that'll get in there. And I think probably the gist of the conversation was, any questions, I think is what's going to be in the ad, is that if anybody's got issues or questions or any ideas, give the drain commissioner a call and see what's happening. But other than that, they're clicking along, doing well. They're a little short on guys, but I think every job or every workplace is. But other than that, that's good. Any questions?
Nope. Thanks, Craig.
You're welcome. Very good. All righty. Have a fun afternoon, gentlemen and lady.
All right.
All right. See ya.
All right.
See ya.
Anybody else for public comment? 3 minutes?
I would like to.
Sure. Just need your name and your township.
Judy French and Harrisville Township. I would like to bring up first that I sat in on the last meeting via the Zoom. And in that meeting, there was a resolution that was front on the board during committee reports to praise those who wore masks and encourage getting the vaccines as soon as it was your turn. But might I say that what was brought up is not inclusive to those who choose not to receive the vaccine or cannot tolerate a mask. And I think it would be better served to word this resolution to be inclusive of all people and the right to choose. Everyone should have the right to choose whether to be vaccinated, and that's with any vaccine. It's not just the COVID shot, and that's a personal choice. A person's vaccine record is their medical record, and it's not the business of anyone but that person and his or her doctor. It's not a business or an employer's right to know, just as it's not any of your right to know what I have or have not been vaccinated for. We live in a country that has a Bill of Rights, one of them being free exercise of religion, which our founders also referred to as our right of conscience. That Bill of Rights is found in our Constitution, which is a document that all elected officials swear an oath to support. So whether we choose to mask or not, whether we choose to vaccinate or not vaccinate, it is our right of conscience to do or not to do so, as our conscience dictates. The next thing I want to say is I just want to say that I am here today in support of the resolutions being brought forth today. One which is in support of the House Bill 4471 to prohibit employers from discriminating against an individual because he or she is not vaccinated. And then two is the House Bill 4667, which prohibits the vaccine passport.
Thank you. All right. Any other? Well, yeah, come on up.
Hey, my name's Jim White. I'm from Curtis Township. I would like to say that I also agree with the support with what Judy has said about the resolution that was brought up at the last meeting. I also feel it should be supported of the people's right to choose. And I'm also here to support two resolutions presented in favor of Representative Sue Eller's House Bill 4471, 4667 by Gary today.
Thank you.
Gary, you got one too.
Oh, public comment too? Yeah, sure. Come on. No problem at all.
Last week Gary went up Mitchell Township, I'm sorry. Last week you were talking about the carry permits in this building by the elected officials. According to Federal's Paper 78, whoever alternatively considers the different departments of powers must perceive that in government in which they are separated from each other, the judiciary from nature of its function will always be the least dangerous of rights of the Constitution because it is the least in its capacity to annoy or injure them. The executive holds the sword of the community. The legislature not only commands the purse, but prescribes the rules by which the duties and rights of every citizen are to be regulated. The judiciary has no influence over either the sword or the purse, no direction either of strength or of wealth of society, can take no active resolution whatever. It may truly be said to have neither force nor will, but merely judgment, and must ultimately depend upon the aid of the executive arm for the efficacy of its judgments. It provides incontestably that the judiciary is beyond comparison the weakest of the three departments of power that can never attack with success either of the two, and that all possible care and requisite is able to defend itself against attacks. It equally proves that individual oppression may now proceed from the courts of justice. Generally, the liberty of the people can never be endangered from that quarter, so long as the judiciary remains truly the strength from both the legislature and the executive. This body has jurisdiction over this building. This is the Alcona County building. But due to a lack of will to stand to the courthouse will be under its rule. The body, as I observed in my time, showed a lack of concern for this branch. That would be you. This body meets sometimes after hours, and the camera in this room, however, its signal did not go over to the sheriff's department. When we were presiding for a while, I checked with the IT department, and 3 of them were trained on the courtroom. None was trained in here. Well, I talked to them, and that was changed. Unfortunately, this board will have to exercise its control. I think you, as a board, you need to allow for your, licensed people that do work in this building, I think should be allowed to carry if they so choose. I mean, you're vetted by one department already. You shouldn't have to ask another department for permission. And so it is my contention that you should stand up and make your own decision as far as who is permitted to carry in this building and who not.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other public comment?
Adam, this is
Scott,
Scott.
is that you? Hey,
Yes, sir.
Scott.
How are you?
Good.
Couple things with emergency management and EMS. Our Region 3 Homeland Security Planning Board, we had a fiscal 18 grant that was set to expire the end of May. And we're not able to find the products or the services that we want to meet our standards, as are many other counties in Region 3. So that has been extended till the end of the year, December 31st, to complete that grant process. Our hazard mitigation plan has been sent off to FEMA by the state of Michigan. That should take somewhere between 30 and 90 days to come back from FEMA. And then it'll come for you, the board, to approve and have public hearings. On the EMS side, we got the ambulance down to Muskegon last week. They're going to start on it on Monday, the 24th. It's on schedule to be completed August 24th. However, there's a chassis delay from Ford because of many of the vehicles are missing those chips or lacking those chips. It's going to be a 2022 chassis instead of a 2021. It only takes about 2 weeks once the chassis arrives to get everything mounted and secured to the box. And write-offs for the month of April came to $13,923.75. And that's all I have for you at the moment.
What was the outcome of the replacement vehicle? Was that ever decided? The replacement ambulance?
You mean the one that they were gonna loan us?
Yeah.
No, well, I probably can't. So Scott, just real quick, the loaner ambulance.
Yes,
There
sir.
was a whole to do about, having to pay a lease or something on that. That was not right. We get that free of charge while they do the modification, right?
We get it for $1.
Right.
You get it for $1. That was one option that the dealer proposed to us, that if we chose to pay for it, or purchase it after the remount came back, what he was trying to do was kind of spread the payments out rather than a large balloon payment at the end if we so choose. But we're leasing it for $1.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right. How about anybody else? Public comment. Okay. Hearing none. Let's proceed into presentations. Gary, you're up.
I was up there. Basically, I have two resolutions before you this afternoon. I have the one on the COVID passport. Basically, I had to go all the way back to the Articles of Confederation because it was well understood in this country there has never been any documentation required to travel from state to state. Now, I've watched Sue present her bill, which is, governmentally requiring people to have a passport, to do such a thing. New York is already proposing it, and so is Hawaii. They had some fictitious arguments going on at the House Oversight Committee. And they talked about, well, if we voted for things because our governor has said she will not be instituting one of those. But, one of the fictitious arguments was, well, I don't want to come up with something to prevent us from holding legislature at the bottom of Lake Michigan where we have to scuba dive down there. I mean, the arguments have been very spurious on this concept. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, You know, I keep hearing about this COVID vaccine. As a matter of fact, the information that we just looked up online today, there have roughly been 4,647 deaths received with this new vaccine, according to the CDC, and I pulled this off their website. So you're roughly looking at about 30.175 deaths a day, or approximately 900 a month. When the swine flu was introduced back in '76, they stopped after 30 deaths period overall. You know, and they slowed back on the, so that's one of the things, you know, when people talk about hesitancy, this is a new development of a vaccine. That's number one. And number two, it should be it's a right of your choice. And the other one was unmandatory vaccines. There are places that mandate you do this. And I mean, if you have personal rights that you believe are being violated, especially the way some of the vaccines are currently being manufactured and produced, and it's not, you know, not using embryos for it. It's not just hypothetical. I don't think the Vatican would have issued a report as I have in that resolution about having to do anything like that. So I think I laid out my arguments very well in the resolutions, and I'd like to bring them before this board. Have you got any questions, Mr. Chairman, or I can just leave it at that?
I do not have any questions. You and I already spoke at length about this already, so
Yes, sir.
I know what there is to know. All right. If that's it, then thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's go into unfinished business. So I messed up again. Yep, I'll say it. With the phone lease agreement, they had provided in their packet a resolution that we were supposed to pass instead of the one that we did pass at the last meeting. And it's in your packet, and I'd like to ask that we pass this. Allow me to sign this resolution here, provided by the lending company.
Do you need to resend something, or is it just a new?
No, it's just, I don't need to resend anything. We just need to approve this lessee resolution as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve and authorize chair to sign Exhibit E of the leasing resolution between NCL Government Capital and the County of Alcona.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Thank you for your support. We probably need a roll call on this.
Yes.
So,
Sorry. Brumman,
Yes.
Brady,
yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Small.
Yes.
Who was the second? I'm sorry.
Second was Terry. Sorry. That's the unfinished business. New business. Oh, I have to read claims today. That's no fun. Claims. I'll make a motion to approve pre-authorized claims and open claims presented for payment between 5/5/21 and 5/18/21 for check numbers 144141 to 144308, and e-check numbers 1576 to 1582 for a grand total of $533,370.20.
Support.
Moved by Brady, supported by Thompson. Any comments, issues, problems? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Brumman,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next is registered deeds budget amendment request for the new employee. So I have from 101, 941, 000 contingency. There's 3 line items to move: $22,060, $1,688.
Could you say again the giving?
Sure, it's 101, 941, 000 contingency. You want
we
the
didn't
line?
have that number, so I wasn't able to look it up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have this copy with the other numbers? You do. Okay, great.
So how much is either starting in the 941 or how much is in it after we do this?
Right, just 1 second here.
Very good.
Contingency has $30,804.
Thank you. This would take 27, would leave 3.
Yep, correct.
And that's going to be enough for the balance of the year.
No, we'll have to move some money in there, obviously, but it was the low hanging fruit place to grab this to get it done. How's that sound?
Love that. Love that.
Different scenario or?
Because we can always shift some money over there from somewhere else.
You do have a transfer out line item. Transfers out in the amount of $60,000
Yeah.
in the general fund budget. Specifically, there's no, that's more of a contingency as well. It's in your transfers out
Okay.
of 60,000.
So unless anybody has a different idea.
Well, it's hard to spot.
101, 890,
Thank you.
999.
890, got it. Why wouldn't we take it from there?
We can.
890.
Can it transfer directly out of that line?
I believe so. I don't know any reason.
I know, I just ran into before where sometimes you can't do that. I'm okay either way. We just got to get it done. Do you have any recommendations, Cheryl?
Either way, I mean, that would be your choice. It was put, this is what's in that contingency line item in the general fund in the commissioner's line was the excess of the calculations from MERS
Oh,
and
that's right.
defined benefits.
That's right.
Defined benefits and the healthcare. The excess after the corrections were done were put into that line item in full.
Well, maybe it's more appropriate to use the other line then.
890?
Yeah.
Okay, I would move, see, we don't have any balances. I don't know what's their new total? What's 268's new total?
22,000
No, their new activity total.
overall.
Once you
Because
add,
that's the number we have to change. We're changing it by 26,000, but what's their new?
I don't know.
Those should be the last three, those should be your new total.
She wants the bottom line.
Well, that's what the motion almost has to be, because that's what we're changing.
Yeah, you have to add it to the. Oh, went too far.
It's on page 6 and 7. I think.
Well, let
But
me do
if they're
some
not
math.
added up on this particular, I did not do.
No,
department.
I would have preferred that would have been the format that we would receive this in, but having said that, I will move to transfer $27,000 from 101-890-999.000 into Fund 101, Activity 268, and I'm going to put it in 268,941.000.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Seconded.
Seconded by Terry. Motion by Carolyn, second by Terry. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Brady,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes,
and who was the second? Gary?
I was.
Does that take care of it? We don't have to move anything else? I don't, we have to vote on anything else for this? Okay, great. Thank you.
the paperwork needs to be submitted.
Yeah. I lost my agenda. Oh, what the heck? Where'd my agenda go? I'm losing my mind. Yes, please.
No, you want
No.
the agenda?
Yeah, I left my.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
agenda? Here.
Unclaimed
Where the heck did it go?
I don't know.
Huh, that's weird. That's really weird. Super ineptitude at work here. Okay, let's see. The next item, unclaimed property policy. Cheryl, would you mind talking about this for a little bit?
We have, in our policies and procedures for financing, we have no policy for unclaimed property. At the end of every year, there is a guideline with the state of Michigan to have these funds that have checks that have not been cashed and property that's not been claimed to be escheated to the state of Michigan. There are certain rules and regulations for different types of funds that we hold. And it was recommended by the auditors that we get some policies and procedures in place. What I presented to you is a template of what I think will be appropriate. Each department puts out funds for different reasons to different entities and different people and individuals. In our department, in the treasurer's department, we pay out people for tax overpayments. If they don't cash their check, we have a process that we need to follow, and that's outlined in the manual for the state of Michigan, which I did not include. I'm more than happy to share that with you, or you can look it up online. There's a policy, there was an unspoken policy that happened years ago that just has not been taking place. So we need to have something in place. Each department will be responsible for their checks. It will be a coordinated effort between the clerk's office and our office. When we do the monthly reconciliation of the bank statements, after 30 days, if the check has not been cashed, we will be sending out letters to each department that sent the initial check out will be contacting those people if they have not been cashed within 30 days. And after a certain time period, depending on where that falls within the manual, the money will be escheated to the state. It's outlined for different checks for different reasons, but this is just a basic outline of what's gonna happen. So we would either void and reissue that check. They have to sign an affidavit and return it to us if they want that check reissued. And it's pretty self-explanatory on the affidavit that they would send back to us. We've had a void reissue. We've had those happen. It's not a big deal, but we really need to get on as far as the policies. So I would like that added to our financial policies and procedures.
What's the number? They used to all be numbered. Do we have a number for
I
this?
do not have a number.
Okay.
That's in the darkest part. You can see on the front page, Board of Commissioners resolution number and policy adoption date. It doesn't have to be today. It can be at the next meeting. And we can put that in there if you'd like to take the time to.
I think it
review
can-
the
I think it can be
policies.
done after it's passed.
Okay.
We've done that more than once on a resolution,
I actually have the home number here.
so. I would
Okay.
move adoption of the unclaimed property policy as part of the finance policy collectively, and that it be given a number and made part of our records.
2021-08.
2021. 8? Oh, we have more finance policies than that. We used to.
They were ongoing policies.
If you look in the last 7 minutes, your NEMCOG resolution was dash.
No. This isn't a resolution, though. This falls under the finance policies. This isn't a resolution. I don't think this is a resolution.
So you just want it as a policy?
It's just a policy that goes into the finance committee. The packet of the finance packet.
That we adopt on a yearly basis.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what the number is. Anyway, I would still make that motion. Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
So motion by Brumman, second by Thompson. Any other comments, discussion? Hearing none. Let's do a roll call.
Paul,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Brumman.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on. Finance report. We've been meeting with the clerk and treasurer on as much as we absolutely can. Having some good luck with keeping tabs on the budget, mostly thanks to the treasurer. Appreciate their efforts, Sheila and Cheryl, and everything they've been doing to keep everything rolling. I am going to start setting up some meetings in June to start talking about 2021 with department heads. And so we're stay ahead of the game here. Other than that, what we've already talked about in the past is about everything else finance has going on right now. If there's no questions, we'll go on to personnel.
What about that motion from Tom Michael under new business?
Yeah, but we're kind of waiting for him to poke his head in here. Personnel report?
Getting ready to move forward on
Excuse me.
next set of the next contract, which is the former COAM. Since they changed unions, we're not sure exactly what the terminology is going to be.
Right, so the command
Yeah, command
is
group,
next.
former command group.
And we're gonna be talking about some of the stuff with Jennifer
Yes.
in the closed session.
Coming in, so.
Yep. Okay. How about the report?
Back to the budget for 2020, we do have a few things that need to be discussed on being the CARES Act. There was no budget. Some of those were extended. The prosecuting attorney, the sheriffs, and the courts were extended because of the year. The state fiscal year and our year don't coincide. There were balances that I had requested confirmation on what was left in those budgets for 2021. I got one confirmation, and I can only go based on what was not received in 2020. So that's what I have presented to you, because right now there's money being spent out of those line items and there's no budget. So I have the balance of what was not collected in 2020 left for the 2021 budget. And this is my recommendation for getting that budget straightened out for 2020. And I have one copy, so I apologize.
This is your proposed budget for?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Yep.
I'll get a chance to take a look.
And I will leave that for you to review. Obviously, with the situation, there are things that are, the money is, it's still a part of an active grant that we have for the COVID funds that they are still utilizing. So first, I know it's the policy for all intents and purposes not to pay out anything, but obviously that's, I thought we had this addressed months ago, but it's apparently not. So this is what we have. There's money being spent out, but nothing budgeted. I thought we had cleared that up, but it's not in there, so that is what I would recommend that we move forward with. And the next thing is the brownfield. There's no budget for that for 2021. And if someone wants to get together the information, I can put together a proposal about what's left, what's outstanding, I would think. Adam, if you have that, I know
Yep.
we've worked on that,
That's me.
but I have not got that. I haven't had a chance to look it over. That was one. And the only other budget for 2020 that's out of balance, and I've already discussed it with that department, and they're gonna offer a resolution in June. That's why I gave you guys all this. It's all in here. You can peruse. We do have a lot of line items that are a bit off track at this time. We did get all the benefits corrected with the exception of a few departments. We haven't got a confirmation from 911 on how they want to handle that or the front of the court, but those should be handled by June. Other than that, I would ask that you review the budgets that are presented. We have 51 budgets or 51 funds. And this will clean up 2 of them, the Brownfield and the CARES Act. And then if you would look through here and possibly coordinate with the departments that you're in overseeing to see where that might be rectified on some of these things that are not,
Okay.
that are out of whack, I guess.
Okay.
We're getting ready to send out our first required notice. We did send out notices to 1,588 parcels that were turned over delinquent for 2020 taxes. We are in the process of printing our notices to all the delinquent parcels that were turned over. So we'll have those out prior to June 1st. The auction is set for August. It's going to be an online auction as it was before. We have 12 parcels that will be offered for sale. And there is the new process of claiming the proceeds that is outlined with the state of Michigan that we have had they have until July 1st to send us a notification, and there's a form that has to be filled out, and if you would like, I can bring you a copy of that. I didn't think about it today, but I will bring it for the next meeting. If you're interested in seeing what the new process is. Other than that, we're just kind of finishing up with the audit information and taking tax payments.
Okay. I will get with you on the Brownfield.
Okay, perfect. Anybody have any questions?
Okay. Thank you very much. How about the clerk's report?
I did receive just a couple of communications, both of them from the Department of Treasury. When you appointed the designated assessor, they'll be meeting to basically confirm that on May 24th. And the other one was the preliminary. The other one's the preliminary state equalization report for 2021. Troy also received that and he'll review it. If there's any discrepancy, you have until like May 21st to respond. And the only other thing that I have is we are in the process of sending out 1,600 juror qualification questionnaires. So I'm sure we just made 1,600 people really happy, but other than that. And the check with us making everybody stay, I'm sure of it. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So Jennifer, I see you come down. No sign of Tom yet. Do you want to just speak to it?
I can, obviously not as well as Tom, but I will if you wish.
Well, I'm just trying to plan the meeting out here a little bit because we're going to closed. Then he can't come in.
Well, as I said, I'm sure many of you have already spoken with Tom or Tom's spoken with you.
Yep.
Regarding the Michigan's Truth in Sentencing law, and the prosecutors have put out a document, which I'll be more than happy to make copies for each of you, a system I thought maybe you had them already. I know that he has copies for you. It's a system that works, talking points for prosecutors. My explanation is about a first grade level, and Tom could give you at least the senior in high school, if not the abridged, and it would be abridged much better than mine. But the concept, as I'm understanding it, is that, and these are just arbitrary figures. Right now, if you are convicted of a felony and you receive a jail sentence, a prison sentence, minimum of, for instance, 100 months with a maximum of 150 months. When you go to prison, you have options of taking rehabilitative classes, there's a bevy of things you can do to enrich and enhance and reduce your 150 months down closer, so that when you do fulfill your 100 months and you apply for they don't call it an early out, but that's the essence of it, out before your completion of the 150 months, you have ways you can do that if you want to. In that scenario, if I have committed a crime, a felony against Terry or Terry's family has the right as a victim, has the innate right from my perspective to know I am safe and my family is safe from what this man has done for 100 months. We don't have to think about him. He's away, we don't have to think about him. And I think there's a great deal of security to that. I think a sense of protection, if you will. That's not to say they're going to come back and harm Terry or Terry's family, but it lingers there. It just can't help but linger. In the new, what they are attempting to do in this House Bill 4670, House Bills 4670, 71, 72, and 73, would be to let the person do these good things in prison and reduce the 100. So I go to prison with 100 months bare minimum. You've got the security that I'm there. I start doing these things, and if this were to take place, you wouldn't know when I was getting out. Now, I know there's a procedure that you're supposed to be informed, but in the back of your mind, you wouldn't know until almost after the fact. So, point being, the Prosecuting Attorney Association of Michigan strongly believes that what we have currently is a good system. There's always room for improvement in everything, but it is not this House Bill 4670 through 4673. It is not that. And he is asking us to express that to our legislators and anybody else that we so feel to express it. And on his behalf, and because I also believe that this is not appropriate legislation, because we have a system in place that's working, that I would at this time move to express opposition. The Alcona County Board of Commissioners express opposition to House Bill 4670 through 4673 as detrimental, unnecessary, and harmful to the well-being of our society. Further, I would request that this opposition to House Bill 4670 through 4673 be sent to our legislators. That is not all of the legislators, our legislators. And I would so move.
Support.
And
Moved by Carolyn, supported by Bill.
as I said, I would make copies, but I know that Tom has copies for each of you. And so if anybody wants to look at this, there's 2
I have it
pages.
already.
Right.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
The only, we're discussion, right?
Yep.
Okay. The only thing is, I'd like to hear from Tom on this too. I'm not-
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Before I voted, I am just,
that's fine. And I support it. Yeah. As I said, I know some of you already talked to him. I mean, if you're in the building and you pop in and say, hey, Tom, what do I need to know about? He would have been more than happy to have told you. So that's why. At this time, then, if I might, Mr. Chairman, I would move, we've got a special meeting scheduled for Monday. I would move to bring this up on Monday, the 23rd, is it? What's Monday?
24th.
24th? Okay. That this be placed on the agenda for our special meeting of March,
Okay.
of May 24th.
Do I have a second?
Support.
Moved and seconded the table until the 24th. Any further discussion?
You can't discuss a motion to.
Oh, yeah. Well, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
I'm perfectly
Motion
fine
carries.
with that.
Okay, that takes care of that business for now. So what I want to do, let's just go right down through. Let's just go right on through here. Let's do communications. You have several in your packet, and Gary has presented his during presentations. Next item is committee reports. What do you got, Terry?
Been a busy couple weeks. Mental health, attended their meeting, seemed to be going well. Also had a class of their, orientation, I guess is a good word. Bringing me up to snuff with them. Seems to be running very smoothly up there. Had 2 township meetings, Curtis and Millen attended. Vets had a meeting yesterday. I attended that. We seem to be rolling along. Nothing to bring to the board from them. And also I attended the Fire Association meeting last night with the county association meeting, which was attended quite, I was shocked by how many people were there. Yeah, DNR, EMS, sheriff, at the fire departments.
That's such a cool group. I just love them.
It is quite the group to go around the table and chit chat with. I mean, it was very, I hadn't been one probably 10 years or more. And it was quite different than what it was. And
That used to be one of my favorite committees. It's such a cool group.
it's dear to my heart, of course, being on the fire department so long. And we got to see the new fire hall as it's coming along. Quite a process.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How far along is it?
They won't be moving in they will this year sometime, but they're having, I guess the cost factor has gone up considerably.
Oh, yeah.
They're adjusting for new board feet and everything. And, but they got a good plan and, they're working away at it. And contractors are at least working at it. So that's all I've got, Chairman.
Okay. Did you want to speak about the soil district changes?
No, you can.
All right, I will. Janet Rains, who's worked with the soil district, Alcona Soil District for a very long time, has taken a new position, and her new start is, I believe, June 8th with the, help me out.
Forester.
Yeah,
Department.
the Forest Department, as well as, and I found out today, is that we're losing Eric.
Brandon.
Yeah, Eric Brandon, which was an awesome, huge, great resource for us. He knows, and he's an expert in so many fields when it comes to trees and diseases. And I mean, we don't lose him. He's only going to be in Iosco, and we can absolutely talk to him, but still, he's not home base here. So that's kind of a big deal. I don't know what the board's planning to do or what they're talking about for new replacements or anything like that this time, but I just wanted to throw that out there. How about you? What you got, Bill?
The Harrisville, it's Inspirational Alcona has sponsored, has a committee, and sure, I just forgot. Becky Bean is the chairman of that committee, and they're working on the pocket park down here for Harrisville. And they've done a grant and got bricks for sidewalks and so forth, and it's for the whole county. But anyway, they were wondering if they could get a either reduction on the electrical permit fee. I understand we've done that, but in the past for a nonprofit organization, it was a $35 minimum or something like that rather than the full amount. And I was just wondering if we can do that for them, since it's something for everyone can use the park. It's not just for Harrisville. And if that's true, then we can let them know that they can.
I think we've done that before, haven't we? Yeah.
I think that I've heard of it.
In the last couple of years, we've done all nonprofits, except for the $35.
And she offered the Inspirations phone number, their nonprofit number for records.
Do we need a motion for that?
Can we just do it?
I would say you need.
I wouldn't be surprised if we have something a few years ago
There might be something already in
that
place.
said, but I will be happy to support Bill's motion.
A motion to waive the fee, or is it a minimum of $35?
Just the electrical permit?
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
The logic and the backing to that $35 mandate is that way they get in the system.
Mhm.
When we used to waive it, they missed the system and then they didn't get inspected and then it just mushed.
Oh, they want the inspection and all that good stuff. They just,
Exactly.
because they're limited in funds.
Okay.
If
Well,
that's a motion, then I make
yeah.
that motion.
Moved by Thompson, supported by Drummond. Any further discussion? Do we need a roll call? Nah. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the only other, well, there's a couple other things, but Harrisville's got a new software that they're dealing with. They are for their water mains, that they'll be able to look up and identify and locate all their water mains. They had one before and it didn't work. They sent it back and they got another one and it's working quite well. That way they don't have to dig multiple holes just to find the one meter. And there's a 5K run here in Harrisville on June 26th that they'll be advertising about. It's a race through town. And we had our countywide cleanup last Saturday. The numbers will come in when I get them all together. But we had approximately 1,500 tires come in. We filled up one semi and the empty one is sitting there now ready to be filled. Semi carries anywhere from 1,000 to 1,100 tires. We had approximately 227 vehicles come through, which everything seems to be falling average. The average gate fee was about average. The vehicle coming through was about average, and now we'll get a report on it as soon as I get all the numbers together. But everyone that came through was very appreciative to the people there, and having the opportunity to drop off good stuff, and those that found some treasures took with them, and but it went really smooth. We didn't have too bad of a backup. We tried to stay off of 41 as much as possible, and I understand it. We hit it a couple times, but not for very long because of the bypass, and so I think it went pretty smooth. So that's about it.
Okay. Thanks. Carolyn.
To piggyback onto Bill's, we had more people. Sheila and I worked the entrance to the track, and Sheila and I had very definitely more people who were appreciative of it and thanked us for having it than we have ever had in the past. They maybe were just glad to get out, but nonetheless, they did express appreciation to the county for having the cleanup. So 211 Northeast Michigan General Membership Meeting yesterday, as a matter of fact. Things are on track. We were made aware that Alpena United Way has 1,400 pairs of shoes and boots. I've let Chosen Ranch know that. I've left word with Jamie Bullis. Been working extensively on the uniform chart of accounts. The CLIB meeting was last Friday. The new structure is not an issue. The small amount of leakage that they have measured is probably groundwater, and nothing was ever said it was going to control groundwater. Want to express appreciation to John for helping us with our Zoom meeting. Command unit negotiations set up to begin next week. The Cato and Greenbush Township boards, pretty much routine. And that's about all I have.
Okay, so if it's okay with everybody else, we're gonna do the last public comment, and then we'll take a short read. We'll take a 5-minute, and then we'll go into the closed session. Is everybody okay with that? So let's do the final public comment, please. Who would like to start? Oh, okay. Hearing none. Then we'll take a 5-minute recess, and Jennifer will go into closed, and we can work on your stuff.
How are you, Judy?
I'm okay.
Good, good.
You and Bonnie been on any crazy excursions?
We went out to hunting camp a couple weeks ago.
That's good.
We stayed out there. Her and Lee just went up for their anniversary up to all of the UP camping.
Good.
They usually just go and hit campgrounds, but she said they're booked, like everybody and their brothers.
I bet.
Yeah.
People are just wanting to be out.
Absolutely. And I think they got some good weather. She messaged last night and said they had just gotten back. Yesterday she went, back to reality.
Right.
Am I supposed to? Scott? Yep.
Roll call because we're coming back from recess.
Coming back from recess, roll call, please.
Paul,
Yes.
Brady,
Here.
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Brumman.
Here,
Dan is absent. At this time,
Mr. Chairman, I would move to go into closed session for the purpose of union negotiations.
Second.
moved and seconded by Mr. Small. All those in favor?
I
Roll call.
Roll call.
almost got it.
Sorry. Well, why are we doing the roll call when everybody was just present?
It's different.
It's for the going to the closed session.
Now you're doing roll call that they want to go into closed session. Two separate items.
Oh, roll
Sorry.
call to go into closed session, I see. Brady,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Small.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're back. I think we left off at, oh, do we need a motion to proceed?
Resume. Yeah, she's got to do attendance.
Oh,
Sure we all
sorry.
came back. God forbid any of us should have left.
Out the window.
We'll need a roll call for resuming, I guess, right?
Drummond,
Here.
Brady,
Here.
Small,
Here.
Thompson.
Here.
Okay, so what's next? We need to have a motion to, do we need a motion for advising what we
That
just did?
we proceed, that we recommend that the circuit court contract move forward as discussed.
Moved by Carolyn, supported by Bill. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Drummond,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
All right. So any additional comments from commissioners? Hearing
And from the
none.
chairman?
Not this guy. Meeting adjourned to next regular meeting on June 2nd at 1:30
No.
p.m. I'm
Special
sorry,
meeting.
until the special meeting on Monday, the 24th at 3 p.m. Thank you, everybody, for joining in.